What is good, everyone? We are drafting another MFL 10 out of the 12 spots today. I'm going to try switching back and forth from the draft board to the draft room when I'm not going back and forth to the iPad. And we can talk about some news and notes around the league today that I can pull up. I'm interested to see how this one goes. Recognize a couple names in there. And if you have any questions throughout the draft, I would love to have a little engagement and maybe talk about some of the decisions coming up. At the 12 spot, it's probably a running back wide receiver combo, unless we really just don't have any running backs we like, which would mean Dalvin Cook would be taken by that point. And then we're probably going wide receiver. We're not going to go 5 wide receivers in the first 5 rounds today. That was a kind of a failed experiment yesterday. Pretty standard top 4, I'm going to guess. So, kind of a weird order for the top 4, but the top 4 nonetheless. I would expect Antonio Brown, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Hopkins, and Saquon to be the next 4. It's kind of the trend in these. For those of you who don't know, these are MFL 10s. They're best ball drafts. It automatically puts your best score in each week. It's PPR. And then after 16 weeks, whoever has the most total points wins the league. And $75 to first, $20 to second, $10 to third. So the goal is to win. So definitely going to take some upside, but it's important to have some floor so you don't have any goose eggs in there as well. Some people go a little too crazy on the upside, and they don't have a chance of winning at that point. So if you draft a nice floor and you treat it kind of as a double up, which means the top 6, you have a lot better chance of just doing well. So Dalvin is definitely the top player on my board right now. And then it would be Odell. I doubt Odell makes it to us. If we can get 2 of those 4, Melvin, Dalvin, Odell, or Kareem, it'd be a pretty good start. I'm going to Vegas to draft an $1,925 main event entry. That's good. That pick means we're going to get 2 of the 4 we wanted. Kareem just goes. Ooh, give me a Dalvin Odell start. Dalvin Odell. Oh. That is a start. I can't click these buttons fast enough. I did draw the 10 spot for that one, and ideally, I will be taking probably Dalvin or Odell there. Devonta Freeman. It's a little early for Devonta, but running backs just keep getting pushed up. So news and notes from the round league. Hugh Jackson reiterates Monday that Tyrod Taylor is locked in as the Browns' starting quarterback. Who really cares? I mean, Tyrod's good. Doesn't really have much fantasy implications. He does like to favor that tight end, Njoku, but he also hasn't really had a wide receiver core like the one he's going to have now. Clay's always been one of the best wide receivers he's had, or best targets he's had. So it's still a lot of up in the air. It doesn't really change my thoughts on Landry or the run game. And Josh Gordon is just, I'm really, really waiting to see a little more before I'm going to pick up any more shares of him here. Unless, we get him, we would have to get him at the very end of the 5th or beginning of the 6th. I would consider him there. Taywan Taylor is running with the first team offense at Titans camp. Not super surprising. Rashard Matthews is out. Taywan Taylor was one of those guys everybody was hyping up last year. I know a lot of people have them as their kind of their. He was getting a lot of the hype around this time. I can't remember exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. I mean, between Delaney, you would think they're going to. Corey Davis is pretty locked into, if healthy, 100 targets. Mariota has never thrown for, or he has 3 career 300-yard passing games. It's just iffy. And they're bound to just try to pound the rock with Henry and Dion. But we just don't know that yet. We'll learn some in the preseason. I know they brought in Matt LaFleur from the Rams, quarterback coach, but like I said, he was the quarterback coach. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator, and the offensive coordinator there really is still Sean McVay. So how much he is going to bring a McVay flavor, who knows? So starts McCaffrey, Antonio Brown, AJ Saquon, pretty standard stuff coming up. Aaron Jones, my favorite Green Bay running back. A little bit of a hamstring issue. Obviously has the 2-game suspension. But just the most talented running back on the team. Definitely think Ty Montgomery's in for some work as well. But Aaron Jones back to own in Green Bay. I really like the Gronk pick at the end of the second. That's how you win leagues, is with Gronk being healthy. Give you such an advantage at the position. Sam Darnold, some first-team reps. I'm not drafting Darnold. Dynasty, obviously, probably has, not quite Baker or Lamar upside, just their running game. Todd Gurley, Doug Baldwin, that's pretty much my dream start. Now, I don't get that. I think Shady McCoy just went about 36 picks too early. Jordan Howard, it's a PPR league, definitely has some limited floor. He's going to definitely put up some weeks with 2 points, 3 points. Can be very boom bust in this format. But, if you're going to be boom bust in any format, this is the one to be boom bust in. Tyreek, a little early. Seen him going a little later in the 3rd, but if he's your guy, he's your guy. Who do we got on the board? Definitely wouldn't have took him over Mike Evans or Adam Thielen. and he's pretty close to T.Y. Hilton, and I wouldn't have took him over Diggs. And there goes Evans there. David Johnson, McKinnon, Evans starts pretty solid. Back to the news and notes. Tyler Eifert has passed his physical and cleared for practice. I mean, I don't mind Eifert just because tight end is so volatile. You can just stream it if you have to, so you might as well take a risk with a guy like Eifert and ride him while he can play. I mean, when he starts, he's a top 8 tight end, if he's even the same person. But he's worth the risk. I mean, the Bengals don't have much for red zone threats right now. Allen Robinson, wow. These live ones are a little nuts. Devontae Parker has been largely ineffective in the first 5 days of camp. I mean, Kenny Stills is the guy to own there. Kenny Stills was a top 26 wide receiver last year. I think he was wide receiver 26 or 24 last year, and his ADP is in the 50s. Yeah, I don't get it. And with Jarvis gone, there's going to be some opportunity there. And, Tannehill, you can chuck it downfield. T.Y., definitely more of a wide receiver run tonight than we saw last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of the last 16 being wide receivers. So coming back to us, who just went? Ooh, it's cruising along. Thielen, Kelsey. We would love it if Diggs made it to us. Diggs. I'm not afraid to get creative around here either. How do we want to build this bad boy? How are the builds around us? Lots of wide receivers. Nice part about being on the turn is if you double up on something, you can kind of start a little bit of a run. Ertz. Let's take Stephon for sure. And I don't have a ton of guys. I'm a little underweight on him. I've been trying to make an emphasis to get some more. And this is a touch early. But we're going to go Geis here. I don't love Geis. I probably, if this was a redraft league where I had to do a starter each week, I probably would have went with Henry or Drake. But you got to pick some upside in these things, and it's important to not have 0% of anybody. And I have, see if I can pull it up. I only have 2 or 3 shares out of 60-something drafts right now of Darius, so I'm a little underweight. He's someone I don't want to be that underweight on. So sometimes you got to make a conscious effort just to get a couple more shares. Julio, Melvin, Ertz, Ingram. Hunt, Freeman, Cooper, Drake. Team 9 definitely has a nice floor after 4 rounds. Fournette, Thomas, Fitz, and Demarius. Sony Michel, definitely some boom bust in the future, I'd say. Pairing him up with Saquon. Sorry. Michael Gallup, definitely a hype train candidate this offseason. I'm sure you'll have someone in your league that either likes the Cowboys or believes a lot of the hype. We'll see how late he can stay going. I mean, in the 15th round or so, she's going now. Who really cares? Definitely will grab some shares of him. But if he starts creeping up into that Paul Richardson area, I'm not going to take him anymore. Golden Tate's a good pick. Let's see what we got next. Dixon didn't practice today. Missed a few in a row. It's still early. I think Buck Allen's still my favorite in that backfield. Elijah McGuire for the Jets, likely to hit the injured reserve, missing the first 8 games. Team Bilal Powell, let's go. Hopefully we can keep getting late shares of Powell. Definitely in for the pass catching work. Jai, Brandon Cooks. Team 3 is going to have some big weeks. Ty Montgomery has been working as the third down back early in training camp, kind of what we just talked about earlier. He's going to be the passing guy. He's going to be the guy they move around, motion out to the slot. Probably going to work in some 4 and 5 wide receiver formations with him. Decent PPR guy in this format. I don't know if you're ever going to feel safe starting him in redraft. Juju. I wish everybody would just be quiet about Albert Wilson for a while. They said the team is trying to find Albert Wilson's role. A couple things in play here is maybe Devontae Parker's just not that good, so he might get to play some outside, but he's just undersized. He's not going to be that typical wide receiver 1. Doesn't mean he can't play wide receiver 2 opposite Kenny Stills. It's just going to be a really small wide receiver corps. And, I mean, that's fine if you can, run the ball in the red zone. Just a lot of question marks on that team. There's a reason they're third or fourth worst odds to win the Super Bowl. But there's going to be some targets there, and Albert Wilson and Kenny Stills, both great values. Both shouldn't have problems getting their targets. Kenny Stills has a great ADOT, average depth of target. It's up there with some of the bigger names that go in the first 3 rounds. Josh Gordon. Talk about team hype train. Team 3, team hype train. Deep threats: Hill, Cooks, Gordon, Ajayi, Rashad Penny. I like Penny in the 5th. Like we talked about kind of earlier. Nice, safe workload. Even if Chris Carson gets some work, Penny's going to be a safe bet for 250 touches in this offense. Royce Freeman's a little aggressive. Sharkandrick West with the concussion today. He had one last week, week 7, or last year, week 7. No bueno on the concussions. Lamar Miller. I don't know how anyone could take Royce Freeman over Lamar Miller. Flacco having the far and away best training camp of his career in July. I don't know how anyone can say that, but okay, it means he's had a good few days of practice. But Joe Flacco time, guys. Carson Wentz, little hesitation on the knee. Coming back from injury, as someone who's watched every Sam Bradford snap, hopefully he can get back to being the same guy. Still young, big quarterback as well. Everybody recovers differently, though. Nothing but the best, I hope, for Carson. So coming up in a few picks, a little bit of a... So we like Dion. Ooh, and then it gets kind of ugly, huh? Coleman. Goes to us. I mean, I really like Chris Thompson and Duke. The only two I'm really considering at this spot. But Duke might make it back to me. And I'd like Burkhead in that same category. They're in the same tier for me. I'm not taking a tight end here pretty much ever. So we're going to go Crab for a little floor to go with Odell and Diggsy. And then we'll take some upside in Sammy. And can just as likely have those big weeks like the Tyreeks and the Brandon Cooks out there. It'll be interesting. I really like Patrick Mahomes, and if you're buying Patrick Mahomes and his big arm, you got to be buying some Sammy Watkins. Garcon, Ingram, Cohen. This draft is flying. I like it. Must be bedtime for some of these guys. The 5th tight end off the board, Evan Ingram. You're going to hear me say this a million times, but it's either the top 3, Delaney Walker, or I'm waiting. I'll wait and I'll get Trey Burton or Kittle or Njoku when they fall to me in good spots. I'm not someone afraid in these ones to just go super cheap in the tight end category. It's just one position, and if you can get some good touchdown guy or get some guys with some touchdown potential, you can normally piece together a decent tight end. Tariq Cohen is this guy's second running back. Chris Thompson, my guy. CT. I would think we would probably... It's a pretty big drop-off at running back at this point. Unless you want to take that Cleveland backfield, which is the top 3 right now. Our targets here are going to be Burkhead and Duke. I also like me some Aaron Jones, but I got some time for that. And then we're looking at carry on. We want some Marlon Mack in our portfolio. And then we're dropping down again. We'll take some Powell. We got some Hines. And then we're just waiting. This is an ugly tier, boys. So, I mean, if you want a little, we're buying some Ivory right now just in case. While it's still up in the air. He's so cheap it doesn't even matter. Best wide receivers on the board are Woods and Kupp. Fuller will be off the board sooner rather than later as well in this format. We are not looking at Dez for another 6 rounds, and he won't be there. I'd be down to take Corey Davis, not a giant Corey Davis guy, but at the end of the 7th, if for whatever reason he made it to us, even when I'm taking guys I don't like, it's good to get them at good prices. Because you don't want just 0 of anybody. We're always wrong. It's just limiting when you're wrong. Stephon Diggs wants to re-sign with the Vikings. Of course he does. Pretty rare someone said they don't want to come back to their organization. Rishard Matthews still not practicing. Like we said, we don't know exactly what's going on. Heard some rumors of it being hamstring related, but I'm not really in that game, the guessing game. Matthews and Stills, man, you could put together a pretty decent or wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, or wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 in those two, and just know week in, week out that you're going to get some targets, which is the name of the game. And they both have great ADOTs. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver, a.k.a. Weapon, for Cam Newton. Played all over the field last year. Doing well in rehab. It's good to hear. Top 6 running back in my eyes, Dalvin Cook is ahead of schedule at his rehab. I hope they let him rest as much as possible. He was absolutely a monster last year. Rex Burkhead. That's sad. I like me some Rex, but you can have him there. Even though I think yesterday I took Burkhead and I guess towards the end of the 7th, but still. I wouldn't take Burkhead over Duke in this situation. We're not looking at any quarterbacks here. Did our boy Watson get taken? Oh, yeah. Free money. I like that team, but I can't take Watson there. I can't take Watson before Russell Wilson. CJ Prosise appears to be the leader for the 3rd down back. Yeah, we'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Robert Woods, Corey Davis, Marlon Mack. It's a good group. One of my favorite wide receivers coming out of UW, Dante Pettis, impresses with the who cares. I'm not listed. Everybody looks good in camp. We're here for first team reps and injuries. Lindsey Jones believes the Broncos running back job is totally open. Of course it is. Of course it is. There's nobody. Royce Freeman and Devonta Booker battling it out there. We'll see. Definitely see it still being a running back by committee either way. Even when C.J. Anderson looked dominant, Ronnie Hillman was still getting those annoying goal line touches. I mean, and I don't know, Case Keenum back there. It should be a decent offense. Should be an average offensive line. I don't know what PFF has him graded off the top of my head, but it's a backfield I'm not looking to buy. Especially at Royce Freeman's 5th round cost. Give me Lamar Miller. and Donta Freeman if I'm gonna buy a backfield. Duke still coming back to me. Come on, Duke. Do it for your city. Nelson Aguilar. Ooh, I'd love me some Chris Hogan here. Who just went? Emmanuel Sanders was on the short list. Randall Cobb. Oh, sniped, boys. It's all right. That's all right. Well, we are gonna go with we're definitely taking Hogan. Probably going a full round too late right here at the end of the 7th. Then we got a decision to make. My favorite player left is probably Randall Cobb, but we really want to go 6 wide receivers on top of each other. The one thing to think about here is if we were to take Kyle Rudolph, it eliminates 2 of those between 10 to 12 to 13 round picks where I'm normally taking tight ends and quarterbacks. I could skip that phase altogether and just take Kyle Rudolph and know that I can go back later and get a Ricky Seals-Jones, Gerald Everett, and in that period I can take more of these second-tier running backs I like. It's something to think about when you're making these draft decisions. I don't want to take any of these guys right now. I have too much Aaron Jones as it is. And Kyle Rudolph is going to be the guy here. And I'm normally not a mid-tier tight end guy, but when it's this bare bones everywhere else except wide receiver, it doesn't make sense. But at least now, you'll see. Right in this whole area, it's mid-tier tight end center. And there's going to be all quarterbacks and tight ends going right here, and I'll be able to scoop up some of the running backs I like. Nobody's talking to me. It's okay. I'm just here talking to myself. Let's get back to some news and notes. Actually, nobody's even listening to me. We're just gonna check the score of the Mariners game real quick. Unfortunately, Excel for iPad sucks more than anything. So I can't even really use my follow along draft like projection model to mark people off or anything. I'd be over here using 2 fingers and clicking. It's just worthless. Calvin Ridley had a bit of a scare a couple days ago. But he was back to practice on Sunday, it appears. Demaryius Thomas lining up everywhere, including the slot. Not super surprising. Played 18% in the slot last year. I like Keenum. Keenum is someone I'm targeting in the. Ooh, Kenny Stills, son of a. This guy might be listening to me at that Kenny Stills pick right there. Kenny Stills is a stud. He must be watching. He must be the one person watching right now. Bar AJAS. If you're watching this right now, you don't have to say hi. It's cool, but I think that's a great pick. And the Delaney pick. That was not a great pick. Vita Vea. Calf injury. Dark horse, late wide receiver. That's great value on Cobb. Dark horse, late wide receiver. I'm throwing some darts at. Hold up. Did Jimmy G just go before Russell? Oh no, Russell went right here. Jimmy G still went before Brady, Wentz, Newton, Breeze, and Cousins. Yowza. Yowza. I would have. I like Aaron Jones there. But back to Jordan Matthews. Hey, man. Belichick just like guys that can ball. And Jordan Matthews has proven that he's been able to ball. Just because you go to Buffalo and don't do anything doesn't mean he was great with the Eagles. He was outperformed. He was better than Devontae Adams in their first 3 years. Definitely a sneaky guy to make a midseason surge without the waiver wire. Kind of like Brandon Lloyd a few years ago. Jordan Reed off the board. Not for me, but if you got to take him, I would rather take him in redraft, especially like shorter rosters. If he can survive and play well, you stole him. You stole him in the 8th round. He should be up there with Jimmy Graham, but where Jimmy Graham's going, I would take Jimmy Graham there. But if he gets hurt, you just replace him off the waiver wire. Here, if I take Jordan Reed, I am telling myself I'm investing in 3 tight ends at that point. Trey Burton, man, this beginning of the draft has some hype team on it. Kerryon Johnson, he was in play for us at the turn, just a little early. Our big board, we will take Tom Brady if he makes it back to us. Tom Brady at the end of the 9th round, beginning of the 10th round. Okay, sign me up. He makes it back to us. I don't see it happening. We do need to start hitting some of these mid-tier running backs. Donta Foreman, definitely. Gio Bernard is on our board here. I can't do Jamal Williams. He might be one of my lowest owned players, which probably means I should pick him. I'm okay with some CJ Anderson in this format. He's going to fall himself into some big weeks. When I say that, I mean he's going to fall himself into some touchdowns. No matter what you think of McCaffrey, he's not going to be the wow. Hey, Timmy Brady, fall to us. If we go Tim Brady and running back here, be a heck of a start. But I don't see it happening. I don't see us getting through the quarterback list 7 through 11. Wow. That guy is invested Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Dez Bryant in 3 of the first 6 picks. All right, man. You do you. I didn't even feel comfortable taking a tight end in the 8th round. Jamal Williams. Yeah, there's no way Tom Brady makes it to us. So let's start planning accordingly. I'd be down for some Ty Montgomery here. I'm down for Donta too. Donta's been slipping. Other than that, we're on the team Geo too. See if I can pull up percentages here. Man, this thing sucks. Robbie Anderson. Tim Brady didn't make it to us, boys. It's okay. For those of you that care, Houston and Seattle are tied 0-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Paxton on the mound, of course, 0-0. So here's an interesting thing. Carson's on the board. And we know for a fact that this right here is quarterbackville and second tier tight endville. But we've kind of put ourselves in a running back situation here. We are not going to take Donta. We are going to take some floor in Gio and Ty. Mariota. Geis, Cook. I lied. We're taking Ty. And we're taking Donta. No, we can't. Can we? Who's going? Hunt. We got Hines. I love Donta Foreman. I have just so much Donta Foreman. I'm probably pushing 35%, which is just way too much. Let's go Gio. I've been trying to build some Gio up in my life. We got some pass catchers, so when Geis has his off weeks, we're building ourselves a little bit of a floor of targets there. Neither of those guys are going to be. Neither of those guys have the upside that Foreman has, but we don't want to be that guy that is lost by week 3 or week 4 just because we've been taking zeros at the running back position. Calvin Ridley. Yowza. Carson Wentz. Where were we at on the news and notes? I think we might be through today's news and notes. Let's look at no thank you on Martavis Bryant there. Too much zero potential, and I just don't see it. Just don't see the upside there. Sterling Shepard. It's a good pick. I don't even know who's on. Gosh. These three right here. This is Dan Masterson heaven. These right here. Right here too. But problem is I always take so many wide receivers I love early. I limit myself on how many I can take later, which is probably good because I would just take the same 7 wide receivers in the 12th through 14th round. Okay. Jay Gruden is John Gruden is showing the Raiders tape that's older than probably all of us watching this from the early mid 70s. Don't know what they're learning, but probably nothing important. I'm really worried about the Raiders. not a team I'm looking forward to. Man, what's the Raiders over under right now? We might just hammer this on air. Gosh, what do you got for me? What do you got for me, Nitrogen? Marlon Mack starting at running back. Ryan Grant at the number 2 for the Colts. Both kind of up in the air. Malcolm Mitchell day to day with the Patriots. Don't sleep on Vikings first round pick Laquan Treadwell. No thanks. Really gotta just think about and these beat reporters, they're hype trains. They're not gonna say a ton negative unless it's really, really bad about their teams or injury related. Chase Edmonds looking good for the Cardinals. Who we have right now as the backup to David Johnson. Mahomes and Newton, that's some upside there. Cam just gets slept on, man. Well, I guess not in this draft. He went before Brady, but Beckham abused Eli Apple one-on-one along the far sideline. Never gave him a chance to get an angle on the ball in 11-on-11. Made the catch and turned upfield for a big gain. That's Odell Beckham for you. Can do that to anybody. On the Peyton Barber versus Ronald Jones, it's still way too early to read anything about September and July. Barber is more proven, trusted, but Jones will have a chance to make up that gap in a hurry. Probably just being more talented. Either way, man, that's like 2 of my favorite players off the board right there. Donta and Lat Murray. That's all right. We got more coming our way, boys. We do need to take a quarterback at this turn. It's all right. Alex Smith is one of the guys I would have liked to have taken. I think he has, QB 8 to 10 upside. Oh, hi, Paul Richardson, just staring me in the face like you always are. Oh, still so many good options on the board. Ben, Phillip, Matt Ryan. Well, that's about it. But if we could get one of those, and I even pair him up with Keenum, I'm happy with that. If both Ben and Philip Rivers make it back to us, we'll take both of them. That's pretty guaranteed top 6 QB. Oh, there's some good ones though on this one. Probably we're not going to lose it at the QB position at that point. Rivers for consistency. Ben's going to have those spike weeks hopefully. He's had his for the last 4 or 5 years. All right, let's see this Raiders over under. Might make some personal guarantees right here. A couple of things to note is the AFC West is good. Well, it's Matt Ryan life unless this Team 11 takes it. I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with Matt Ryan. I'm less okay with going with Jameis and Dak. That's cool. Mitch Trubisky. Well, boys, that's hype train right there. How many of you guys have 2 QBs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one doesn't. Get out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that one does. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we live with ourselves with Keenum? Yeah. I'm okay with that. Which running back are we going to take, though? Oh, we got to get us some Blau Pow in our life right now. Naheem Hines, though, staring us in the face. Definitely won't make it back. Neither will Paul Richardson. Or Njoku. But it's not what we came here for. We're going to take Powell. Three strong pass catching backs, especially if Elijah McGuire misses the first half of the season. Powell's gonna have some opportunity there. He's older than you think. I think Powell's like 31 or 32, maybe 30 or 31 actually. The over/under opened at 8.5 for the Raiders. Oh, come on, load. Team totals. Not available. What are you talking about? All right. New book. Always have more than one book. Always have more than one. Gotta play the sides. Njoku, Theo Riddick, Naheem Hines, of course. It's all right. If I liked Hines more, I would have picked Hines more. I would have took Hines. Give me that. Give me that chance at a big workload for Paolo. Something that just, I mean, Hines is going to be a gadget spike week kind of guy, kind of like Cohen was last year. I mean, probably best case like Cohen was last year. Powell's got a chance for some serious workload the first 2 months of the season. Gosh, I just want to know the over/under for the Raiders. Google is telling me 8.5, but there's no way it stayed at 8.5. Eight and a half. That's what this keeps saying. I gotta find this on a book though. I'm not gonna believe it till I see it. 8.5 in that division. Let's look at the Raiders' schedule. And my favorite way to compare schedules is just by your quarterback. Oh, start off with the Rams. Jared Goff is better than Derek Carr. And even in a tie, the Rams roster is so much better. At the Broncos, we will give it to Carr, but not by much. At the Dolphins, home versus the Browns, they got a pretty easy 2 through 4 there. And then at the Chargers, I mean, unless their whole team is in a cast by then, don't see it. At least they get Seattle at home, Colts at home, at 49ers, Chargers, at Cardinals, at Ravens, and the Chiefs, and then Steelers, at Bengals, Broncos at home, at Chiefs. It's really not that bad of a schedule. They might be a luck box there winning the 9 wins on this team, but I mean, a Derek Carr offense when your second best weapon is Jared Cook. Marshawn and Doug Martin. Never Doug Martin. Boise is not a state. Good offensive line. But it's not like they're playing in the AFC East here, guys. I would definitely take the under. Yeah. 7-win team. And that's giving them a Chiefs game and a Broncos game. Let's look at some of these teams. Off the board, Keelan Cole with the no picture. Jacksonville defense. Team 3 is just doing their own thing. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with that. Chris Carson's been getting a lot of hype. Going to be the starter. I mean, if Chris Carson is the starter there and they struggle, first of all, Chris Carson can't stay healthy. But if Chris Carson's the starter there and they start struggling, it's going to be new coach time. They're damn fortunate they have Russell Wilson, because that is a bottom 6 roster in the league without Russell. Tyler Lockett. Is Paul Richardson gonna make? I should have never said his name. I think it's a little early on the Chargers. Is he gonna make it back to us? What's the dream here? What's the dream here? Nice upside plays right here. These are both spike week candidates. We only need really one more running back, though. The next running back we pick, though, will be a spike candidate. So a guy like Corey or Blunt or Eckler. We won't pick anybody like – it immediately eliminates guys like Doug Martin, Frank Gore, Buck Allen, Yeldon. This might not be a bad spot to take Ivory. Has Ivory been taken? Ivory hasn't been taken. But it's probably not going to be for me. I mean, what's the upside really of Ivory on spike weeks? I mean, one week with 30 points from a guy like Corey Clement or LeGarrette Blount is worth 6 weeks at 12 points from Ivory, and that's, best case. We are totally taking Paul Richardson. Hype train. Let's go. He's my highest owned player right now. One of these days we'll do a little after show and we'll go over all my percentages on who we own. It's really good to tell them who you like and who you don't. Mike Williams. Okay. I kind of am intrigued by Jameis here and just letting Matt Ryan keep the boat afloat. We're definitely taking Paul. I think he has top 20 wide receiver upside. And then after that, it's pretty bare bones. until you get down here a little further. Tight end. Not really interested in that yet. But Jameis provides us with some upside at all right. Upside at the quarterback position. I don't know how the appeal is going. I don't have a ton of Jameis. We will snag Jameis here. Matt Ryan's nice, good, and consistent. Matt Ryan had a pretty unfortunate season fantasy points wise. He was one of the top quarterbacks according to PFF just in grades and in deep throw accuracy. They upped the weapons with Calvin Ridley. Mohamed Sanu is still one of the more underrated guys out there. And they play in a division where you gotta score some points. Matt Ryan, kind of a dark horse MVP candidate this year too. I gotta look at that. I gotta look at some MVP odds. MVP, pick an MVP, and just eliminate 20 teams that aren't gonna make the Super Bowl or a top couple seed, and then you want to pick someone with a history of being able to put up 35 touchdowns. That's the name of the game right there. Gosh. And yeah, the answer is a lot of times is Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. But you know who wins the MVP a lot? Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Some dark horses though. Jared Goff, 30-1. I mean, I'm not sold on Goff, but I'm sold on McVay, and McVay's doing everything but throwing the football out there. The Rams run hurry up just so McVay can talk to him when he's going up to the line of scrimmage, and they can be within that last 15 seconds. That is a McVay offense. So right now we have 6 wide receivers, 5 running backs. We're done at quarterback. Still need a tight end, another running back, 2 more wide receivers, and 2 defenses. I'm glad we picked Jameis. I have a little QB run going. Not really, just 2. Dixon and Blunt. I really like that Clement and Blunt picks there for the 9 spot. Just real big spike peak candidates. You can tell he definitely understands. He built a nice floor early. Not a big Jimmy Graham guy, but we'll see. Case Keenum. Not as many tight ends went in that 10 through 12 as usual. Normally the Eric Ebrons and Clays, and Cooks, and maybe they just went a little earlier than normal. Yeah, they just went a little earlier than normal. Normally this section right here is Brait, Doyle, and Kittle. They all are more clumped up into this area. Team 10 already has 3 quarterbacks. Both tight ends on the same bye week on that team. I don't know, man. Amari Cooper, Emmanuel Sanders. Okay, you probably have the worst wide receiver group in this league. And I know running backs, elite running backs win championships, but elite wide receivers make top four teams. And if I just keep building top four teams, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win some. And I think Dalvin Cook's an elite running back. So we'll see. Keep plugging away. But I'm far more in the camp of I want to build teams that I feel are safe bets to be top six, and then try to make top three from there. Than teams that are either going to get first place or last place, because you miss on a few of them. Even if you do have some elite guys, they have one bad week. You're just taking bad scores at the position, and that's how you fall behind. You just got to win each week. You just got to put up a top five number, top four number each week, and just steady Eddie your way to the top. Here's those tight ends. I really like Ricky Seals-Jones. Really like Charles Clay. Both as options for redraft. They don't work out. They don't work out. You cut them and you pick someone else up. But in these leagues where you're required to take, two, some people take three. Man, team bar AJS is really on that rookie hype train. Barkley, Michelle, Jones, Moore, Miller, Gallup. Dang. Man, those wide receivers. Beckham, Diggs, Crabtree, Watkins, Hogan, Paul Richardson. Cook, Geis, and the pass catchers in Montgomery, Bernard, Powell. We're going to get one more spike candidate here at the end. Matt Ryan, consistent. Kyle Rudolph. We got to get someone to pair up with Kyle Rudolph here. So we are not taking a defense here, that's for sure. This looks like an Albert. It's probably not an Albert Wilson team. Yeah, I feel so lost in these ones. Without my spreadsheet. So we'll solidify that tight end position with Ben Watson. Benefit of playing in a great offense. A little more consistent than someone like Everett will be, even though I really like Everett. So let's see here, some upside in our life. Man, it's rough. It's rough out here. Austin Ekeler is really the only guy. Jordan Wilkins too, but we can get Jordan Wilkins way later. We'll take Ivory. I don't have as much Ivory as I should. We might go 7 running backs just because we're so elite at wide receiver here. It's going to be hard for us to get someone that's contributing. So we'd probably go 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 2 defenses, and then 7 running backs, 7 wide receivers. Probably makes sense here. We're going to hope Austin Ekeler makes it back to us. I'm not sure if he will. A guy like Austin Ekeler and then a guy like Albert Wilson to even out this team. Or if he doesn't make it back, a guy like Jordan Wilkins here too. Has an opportunity to be a touchdown guy in that offense. All the defenses will be coming off the board here. Don't really care. I mean, unless you get lucky and pick Jacksonville, or we don't really. It's hard to predict defense. Well, we're not getting Wilkins. That's okay. We're getting Austin Ekeler. Yeah, keep picking defenses. Keep picking defenses. More defenses. Yeldon. Mariners are up 2-0. That's always good. Top of 7th. John Brown. I don't know, man. Health. Quarterback. Torrey Smith. He doesn't come out well on projections. We'll just say that. Paxton throwing the 3-hit shutout right now. Through 6 2/3. Houston defense. What do we like and don't like about these ones, huh? A team in the comments. What team's your favorite? If you're still watching this, bless your soul. Team 3 is Hype Train City. Hill, Cooks, Gronk, Flash Gordon, Garoppolo, before Brady, Breeze, Cam, and then Rams, Jacksonville defense in the 12th, 13th. Let's see what he does here. He's going to take the full clock. Pro move. Sorry. I don't know if I'll take a lot of clock on the first one if I'm on the turn, and then I gotta make 2 picks, you know. Gotta look over everything. You got 2 decisions to make. That's not the route I would have guessed for Hype Train Team 3. I like Team 4. Team 4 solid all around. It feels so good getting a David Johnson, Bell, or Gurley on your team. I mean, Kittle and Ricky Seals-Jones, both potential tight end ones. But you got Crowder and Cobb to even out some of the spikiness of Davis and Evans. I like it. It's a good team. Team 4 is definitely solid. I can't buy Team 4 right now. I would like Team 4 so much more if they would have went Adam Thielen there and then taken Allen Robinson in the 4th. He would have been there. Or if not, take Rodgers there. Or if you take Allen Robinson there, or if you take Thielen there, either take Allen Robinson in the 4th if he makes it back, which mid-4th has been where he's going, or Alshon. I just don't like Aaron Rodgers that early. I mean, even he knows he. I mean, looking back on it, you got Breeze in the 9th. I don't know. It just seems like a waste. If I'm taking Rodgers in the 4th, I am waiting. I'm the guy taking Bortles or Keenum in the 15th round because why? Well, I mean, quarterbacks are pretty consistent. Austin Eckler. John Ross. Well, it's getting pretty dry down here. Pretty dry. Lamar Jackson, huh? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got the wide receiver. Let's go Albert Wilson. I'm definitely an Albert Wilson truther. And one of my favorite defenses. And then on the way back, we will take one more wide receiver and one more. Oh, we'll see what's left. But running back so depleted, I'm probably just gonna go wide receiver. Favorite defense this late are Cleveland, San Francisco, and Washington. If we get way deep, I don't mind the Giants. They got some aggressive players on defense that can make plays. And the only reason I took a defense, not in the last 2 rounds, because I know some of the players I like here that I'm okay with taking last, they normally don't get drafted. James Washington, Quincy Enunwa, Geronimo Allison. I take some Terrell Pryor. They're all falling. And they're all so close. Like, who cares? They're all just such major darts. We're looking at running back. Jonathan Stewart might fall his way into a few touchdowns. But I'm pretty set on going wide receiver here. I feel pretty good about the running back crew. It's one of the more well-balanced teams I've drafted. No real weakness. A lot of this team is going to depend on Geist, though. Um, if Geis is just a major bust, I'm going to be picking through those 5 down there, or those 4 for an RB2 number each week, which, I mean, one of those guys is going to be able to put up 12 points um, in a PPR league like this. Probably no problem. But there's probably a little too much emphasis on that RB2 Darius Guys pick. It's not as safe a team I would have liked. But once again, I love drafting just top-heavy wide receiver cores. And Odell Diggs, Crabtree, Watkins, Hogan, Richardson are it's phenomenal. We got a top 6 tight end in Rudolph. Backed him up with Ben Watson. 30. That's what I was looking at. I thought he was 38, 37 years old, but playing with Drew Brees. What more can you ask for? James Washington gone. I think James Washington is one of those guys you'll probably see creep up a little bit as preseason goes on. Super talented guy. And, you know, just Eli Rogers really to beat out for that slot position. We'll see. Still so early. July, it's just we still know so little about the starting lineups. Mariners got 2 on, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Kansas City, Cole Beasley, Pryor. I'm still fine. Allison, Anunwa. I'll even throw a Dante Pettis in there. Dynasty right here, Josh Reynolds, guys. With that Brandon Cooks extension and Todd Gurley money and Aaron Donald soon to be money, pretty unlikely Robert Woods coming back. Josh Reynolds showed flashes last year. He's going to be a big part of the offense moving forward. Buy him now while you can. No thanks. Brandon LaFell, man. That's feels disrespectful almost. He's been such kind of a solid. Does it show stats in here? Never gonna be the guy that wins you one of these, but for as late as he always goes or went, he's got some decent touchdown upside. Have some good weeks. Adam Humphries, potential targets. Look pretty good if he can keep his slot position. Only 25, just very small. We're digging deep right now. Rashad Higgins. Tajay Sharp. Speaking of someone who had a lot of hype last year. There's Eli. Braxton Miller. He was a hot waiver commodity last year. Alright. Let's finish this bad boy up. I haven't really been paying attention who's left. Allison was picked. Let's go. Let's go Buck. I feel like running back's a little better. I mean, ferocious front line, front seven on that Tampa Bay team. Some playmakers. Let's go Buck Allen. There's really nobody left that big spike potential. I mean, Jonathan Stewart might, but if you're a believer in Saquon, they're not gonna give Stewart too much opportunity. So that's the squad. All my teams will probably have 2 quarterbacks unless I'm not paying attention, and draft 2 at the same bye week. All my teams will have 2 or 3 tight ends, just depending on how I feel about the tight end position. That's the most running backs I'm comfortable taking, 5 to 7 there. And unfortunately, in these 2, I've been picking towards the back end of the drafts. When I'm up front, I'm much more likely to go, Bell, McKinnon, and then mix in somewhere and start a little more running back heavy, and then come back in the 3rd and 4th and take some wide receivers, even though I have a lot of Doug Baldwin. These have been a little more wide receiver heavy builds because they're safer than the running backs that make it to me there. Just kind of the way they worked out. You got to play to win these. And luckily, when you play as many as I do, you get a pretty even share of beginning to end. Best team. Really like my team. But best team. I will give best team to team, even though I don't like some of their last picks, to team 9. Good floor, Thomas Fitz, and Thomas Fitz Thomas. Good spike potential to make up some running back 2 weeks, and Clement, maybe not. The more I think about it, the more I don't love it as much. I'm gonna go back to Team 4. Team 4 is in a solid spot. Some big play guys in Lockett and Williams, Davis, Evans, some safer guys like Crowder and Cobb. Did a decent job at the tight end position. Yeah. So that was out of the 12 spot. I'm going to give mine a B on this one. I would have liked one of those running backs I was talking about to make it to me at that 5th, 6th turn. And then if I could have got I got sniped on Duke Johnson pretty hard at the 7th. I might like this team a little more if I went running back at the 5-6 turn, but it's just a little early for the guys I would want. My favorite running backs are Thompson and Burkhead there, and I really thought one of Burkhead or Duke would make it back there, and I have them so close that I'd rather take someone like Sammy Watkins. Hogan was great value at the end of the 7th, though, and Rudolph was fine, but I'm just really not a big fan of those next 3 running backs off the board. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll probably be back tomorrow, maybe. Other than that, have fun out there. And draft Kenny Stills. Moral of the story. Thanks.